Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's September 17th, 2023. Going to try this again. I just tried shooting this with a new gimbal. Yesterday I did some weed whacking in the garden, so I just want to show you a garden update today. So yesterday I had successfully weed whacked with the Ego carbon fiber handle string trimmer, and it worked fantastic as usual. I started weed whacking around the outside perimeter here this morning, but unfortunately my auto feed feature on the string trimmer stopped working, so I'm going to have to contact the company. And I've had it now for 2 years, so it's out of warranty, darn it. So the goal is trying to get all the weeds before winter under control here. But we'll show you what we did inside. So we ran the string trimmer down here and just whacked off the surface of the weeds that I could easily get at around in here. And most notably, these were just completely overrun, halfway up the window with some of not halfway up to the bottom of the window, and overrunning the weed mat here. So I used the Ego leaf blower today, which works fantastic. And that got a lot of the material off of the weed fabric down here. This was real heavy duty in here. There's still more hand weeding that's got to be done. And then I'll use the garden tilter and the stirrup hoe to come down here and get the rest of the things in the main paths under control. This could have all been prevented if I had gotten the weed mats down in the past. The weeds in the main bulk of the weeds have been taken care of out here in the paths and on. Now, a lot of the green that you see here was weeds that were growing over the top of the weed mat, and I just blew those over this way, so I've got to take care of those too. And the thornless blackberry plants have to be supported more as well, and some of them probably aren't going to make it, but some will. So those were all started off. The big ones were all transplants from last fall. Some of those didn't make it. I transplanted more during the summertime when I dug up some more from up front up there. But c'est la vie. What works, works. And so pretty happy with the amount that I got done over here. I still have to pick up all the old rusty staples here, a few rocks around in here. And then I've got to get the weed whacker working again. It works, but it can't feed the string. So let's take a walk over to the central garden plot. So the squash have been doing pretty well over in the central garden plot. They've continued to put on more mass the size of the squash themselves. I did come through and weed whack some of the big bulky weeds that were around in here, and the weeds that were overhanging onto the acorn squash over here. And Thea's continually getting our tomatoes off of the San Marzano tomato trellises here. And let's see, you can see a bunch of the acorn squash down in here. You can see the weeds along in here that are drying up some. Acorn squash right there. And then we've got some of the sweet Georgia candy squash down in here. I don't know if you can see these very well. God, I love these big beautiful leaves on the sweet Georgia candy squash. These really do make monsters. Now those are small ones there. You can see I weed whacked in here. See some of these buggers. We'll have to take some pictures of these when I do pull them out eventually. The bees are pollinating them. I damaged some of them because of the vines were out here in the lawn part, and I decided, well, I'm going to pull them back anyway. So some of them aren't going to mature, but there's going to be so many. We're going to be just fine. We're going to have excess. And some of the butternut squash all around in here. Most of these have got a ways to go. Yeah, that's starting to harden up some. The fingernail test. Okay, here's one of the couple of blue Hubbards down in here. More blue Hubbards over in here. And that's all from one blue Hubbard plant. There's another one over here. And the deer have been going in and selectively eating some places, but from starting these so late in the season, and remember, even terminating the cover crop that was here, that was, you know, very tall, several feet tall, and terminating it, putting the weed mats back, and then starting those seeds so late, it really is amazing how well they have done. Here's the eastern garden plot, and as you can see, I weed whacked down along the cattle panel fencing down here, and we'll go in here and have a look. So here we are, the scarlet red runner beans. They're starting to mature, getting a good size. So I weed whacked inside of the trellis here, and that worked out pretty well, leaving the clover here because I had put clover seed down in. But it makes it so much easier harvesting because of the way that the beans just dangle here inside. He is the main harvester, so that works out pretty well. It's overcast right now. We got a nice cloud cover. And I weed whacked around in here. Get on this bed. Nothing planted in here at this point. This was the garlic bed. This is soybean cover crop and winter rye. The winter rye is starting to make its way up in there in between, but it's a little bit tough for it. And it's thick enough that there isn't much competition from weeds, so that's worked out pretty well. I weed whacked the sides of each one of the red raspberry mounds here. Like I mentioned before, we need to sheet mulch these two beds here anyways. But considering how late we transplanted these ones, pretty happy how well they're doing. Not bad at all. And then here was our Dutch red shallot bed. And so we got a combination of the winter rye and the soybean here. And again, white clover in our paths, and the white clover really didn't take down in here, but down in here, most of it's white clover, and then grasses grew up, and Pennsylvania smartweed grew up right in the edge. We do have some ground wasps down in here, so I don't know if you could see them coming out of their hole. And as long as they don't really bother us, that's cool. They're okay. The russet potato patch I haven't done anything with yet. That really should have a cover crop on it by now, and put some drip tape on it. I haven't. Here are the two drip tapes that do go for that bed. I did come down yesterday and whack the weeds on each side of the sweet potato bed here, and I pulled out some of the big tomato plants that were coming out of there. I didn't get the grasses. Every time I turn around, So as you can see, there's grasses growing up in there as well. So there's competition. Some of the Pennsylvania smartweed there. So sweet potatoes are doing pretty good, I reckon. Here we have butterfly milkweed. We just have a few of these. A lot of them are real small. Thea started these ones from seed. Got a couple weeds in here I see too. And this is one right next to the butterfly milkweed. And the hiscaps or honeyberry plants over there on the other side. And foxglove or foxglove. And the strawberries have been holding their own over here. Nothing great going on with them. I was hoping they'd send out more runners, but c'est la vie. So we've got some shagbark hickory to get started. Seeds. We've got peach trees that we got to start the seeds. We got some oak. Do we have oak? No, we don't have the oaks yet. And also we got some more of these. Thea's been pulling out some of these swamp white oaks. And also we got to pull out some more of these because we're transplanting them over on the new property now. And we will take some of the plants and over where Pond 8, where I'm just excavating now, those will get done. So here we have the English oaks. They're holding their own. I have two that I don't think made it up front, the ones that I transplanted this spring. Kale's still doing good. Chestnuts are doing fine. And all. Thea's been coming in here and weeding around here. Lavender's having a second bloom now, kind of amazing. The same thing with the thyme. That's having a second bloom as well. So it's kind of amazing that the lavender, some of the lavender, not all of it, are having a second growth phase and flowering, same as some of the I just said it. Gosh, Kevin. Well, the sage is still holding its own. We got a second growth, but no flowering of the sage. The thyme. That's what I meant to say. Lavender, thyme, and sage. So, all right, Kevin, get this camera set. So, let's take a walk up front and see how things are going up in the front garden. I feel the big rush for winter time right now, and I don't know why this camera is doing these things. I'm not moving, it's just doing it on its own, this gimbal. I hope this gimbal works out better than the other ones that I've tried. Oh, dang it, please. I will turn the camera around and see. It's Mad Max. Handsome boy. He's a very big, good boy. Okay, we're up front here now. Not a lot different up here. Thea's been keeping things pretty much weeded. The oregano up here, the flowers are finishing and getting ready to go to seed. Irises have been doing well. My brother brought down some more irises, which we'll show in a second. But the thyme in here is doing great. So here's one of the transplants, the irises that my brother gave us. So those will look like these ones here next year, and they'll just keep growing like crazy. And certainly lots of honey locusts, the fiddlehead ferns, the hostas, and oh no, I see we got another weed in here. Oh, dang it, that one broke. Hostas, irises, Japanese maples, honey locusts. I really do like the honey locust plants. They're really nice. Sedum, all different irises. You'd see some more irises planted right around in here. I really wanted to get some tulip bulbs. I really love tulips. We had thousands of them that we bought before when I had all the topiaries. I used to have topiary trees all along the main entrance here, but I couldn't keep up with it. So I couldn't keep up with the topiaries, and certainly all of the small mammals ate all of our tulip bulbs, unfortunately. So we had thousands of them. It was beautiful in the beginning, but ended up not working out for us. So nowadays what we're trying to do is figure out trying to plant enough so we can enough plants of the desirable plants that don't inhibit their own growth, their neighbor's growth, but inhibit the growth of weeds. And that's pretty much a challenge, because I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing weeding. That's not a lot of fun. So it's trying to find the right density of each one of the plants, the right mixture, so we have companion plants next to each other so that they tend to crowd each other, shade the areas enough and all, so that there's less weeding that we have to do. So that's the goal anyways. So that's enough of this video. If you found it of value, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't be afraid to ask any questions at all. Eventually I'll get around to them. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.